Right, so we're going to raise ours today, we're gonna have to bring a couple in for the maybe I saw there was some thoughts. Well, yeah, stay tuned. Yeah. You'll have. Where's the car? You got a call, choose the race, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Oh.
Yeah.
I can't write, nobody got to notice the myself. Nice talking, and that's how you.
I got some things.
Can you get that a little bit higher? Can we turn? Actually, let's do this one to the second half and that one to the first half. Is it okay if I put it up a little higher? I'm trying to make it so we're not looking down as much. Is it okay if I do it? Yeah, okay, yeah, let's try. Maybe we could, yeah, we could take.
Like, right. They don't stop. Oh, yeah,
Welcome to the second day of the Days of Reparations to African People weekend here in St. Louis, and thank you to everyone that's tuning in online as well. We are live from the Uhuru Solidarity Center, a beautiful center for organizing for the movement for reparations to African people with the APSC, the African People Solidarity Committee, and Uhuru Solidarity Movement. We have the honor of working for the African People's Socialist Party. So this building is owned by Black Star Industries, and this was also one of the buildings raided by the FBI on July 29th, 2022, when the U.S. government attacked the Uhuru movement in 7 homes and offices throughout the country. In addition to the homes of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela, Director Akile Anai, Penny Hess, Kitty Riley, Jesse Neville, and Amanda Carlozzi. The FBI targeted this building along with the Uhuru House in St. Petersburg, Florida. To be here over 2 years later, going strong with this conference today is a powerful statement. Hands off Uhuru to the Hands Off Uhuru movement. Free the Uhuru 3, hands off Chairman Omali Yeshitela. White solidarity with Black power will not be silenced. Unity through.
Thank you, comrade. It's really an honor to be here. I want to salute our leadership, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela, and all the members of the African People's Socialist Party who are here with us today. We also want to salute Chairwoman Penny Hess and USM Chair Jesse Neville, who are also members of the Uhuru 3. We salute the Uhuru 3 in the fight for anti-colonial free speech. We also salute the Green Party, Veterans for Peace, and PEDM for endorsing the March Against Genocide yesterday. A huge victory. Salute to all of you comrades who came out and marched yesterday to say no more genocide in our name.
And ANWO were also endorsers, so we'll thank them as well. So this was a powerful continuation of the tradition launched by the African People's Solidarity Committee in 1979 when they held the first Walk Against Genocide. African People's Solidarity Committee and Uhuru Solidarity Movement are the organizations of white people working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party to build white solidarity with Black power. We want to take this moment to say that USM fully unites with African People's Socialist Party's stand of unconditional solidarity with the people of Palestine, who are on the front lines of the struggle against colonialism today. We stand with Indigenous people who are fighting for self-determination, and we say free Leonard Peltier. What we will be discussing today is why the most important stand we can take to end the genocide in Palestine of the Indigenous people, of oppressed people everywhere, begins right here with the stand of principled white solidarity with the African Liberation Movement. This is why our conference is called White Solidarity with African Liberation, Principled Unity with all colonized and oppressed people. We have some amazing speakers and panels lined up today. We will also be making a call to donate and to join Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Our conference today has a goal to raise $25,000 in reparations for the work of the African People's Socialist Party. We can do this, comrades. You can start right now. Go online and kick it off by donating to uhurusolidarity.org/join. So to start our program, we're going to hear from the chair of Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Jesse Neville. Welcome, Jesse.
Uhuru, unity through. Hands off Uhuru. Uhuru. I think we should close that door. There's a few events happening at the same time. All right, so Uhuru, everybody, I want to welcome all of you to the second day of our weekend of Days of Reparations to African people. This conference today as our, first of all, let's give it up for our great MCs, Indigo and Lauren. And as they told us, the theme of our conference today is white solidarity with African liberation, principled unity with all colonized and oppressed peoples. And this conference is happening at an extremely important and urgent time in history when the colonial system all over the world is in serious crisis because the African, Palestinian, indigenous, and other colonized peoples of the world have determined that they're not going to go another 500 years living under the domination of colonial white power. And that is true in occupied Palestine as much as it is true in occupied North America and in the African and indigenous colonies within the United States. So we want to welcome everybody to this conference today. As our comrades stated, this conference is not a talk fest. It's about building organization. It's about recruiting you to become a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And if you are already a member, it is about winning each and every one of us to rise up to this period, to recognize that this is not a period where we can sit on the sidelines. We believe that the next wave of incredible Uhuru Solidarity Movement leaders, not just members, but leaders, are in this room with us and watching this conference on Zoom right now today. And the goal of this conference is that statement I just made will become a reality by the end of today. We have so much confidence in our incredible comrades and just the passion and enthusiasm and unity that every single one of our members has shown, especially in this period of building the hands-off Uhuru anti-colonial counter-offensive to stop the US government's attacks on the Uhuru movement, on freedom of speech, and ultimately on the programs of African self-determination that the Uhuru movement is building to build anti-colonial power in the hands of the African working class. So on that note, I just want to give a profound revolutionary salute to our leadership and some of the speakers who we'll be hearing from in our program today, starting with our chairman, Omali Yeshitela Uhuru. And we're very honored that the chairman will be joining us and will be giving a keynote presentation and also participating in several of the panels this afternoon. And we recognize that the chairman's leadership and the theory of African internationalism that he has developed for the past 50 years is what makes it possible for all of us in the white community to take away the blinders of the colonial worldview of how we are taught and trained to see the world on the pedestal of the oppression of African people. We can see the world through the eyes of the African working class, which means we can see the future we can see a positive future where nobody is oppressed and nobody is exploited. That is what Chairman Omali Yeshitela represents. And the beautiful thing is that you don't even have to wait for years from now to see what that future looks like, because under the leadership of Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela, who's also here with us, that future is being built as we speak. The party is not waiting for colonialism to die to start giving birth to the new world. They recognize that that is a dialectical process, that in the process of this system going down, a new system, a new mode of production based on liberation, based on African working class people having power over their own lives and resources comes into fruition. And we're going to learn so much more about that under the tenacious and incredible leadership of Deputy Chair Black Star Industries, the Black Power Blueprint. We'll be hearing more about that as we go towards our program today. And I also want to salute right here next to me, Chairwoman Penny Hess. And Chairwoman Penny will be also giving a keynote presentation in just a few minutes. And Penny is the chair of the African People's Solidarity Committee, which USM is the mass organization of the African People's Solidarity Committee. So our job ultimately is to recruit into the African People's Solidarity Committee cadres who will go into the white community and do whatever we are called upon to do to win other white people to take the principled stand of solidarity with African liberation. And Chairwoman Penny Hess was there at the founding conference of the African People's Solidarity Committee in 1976, and she has been on the front lines representing the highest stand of what genuine solidarity with African people and with the oppressed peoples of the world looks like for nearly 50 years. So we're very honored to have Chairwoman Penny here with us today. And I also just want to shout out all of the other veterans of the African People's Solidarity Committee and Uhuru Solidarity Movement who are here, including Secretary General Allison Haney, who is here with us. We have Comrade Kitty Riley, who's here with us today. Uhuru Kitty. We have Comrade Maureen Wagner, who's here with us. Uhuru. We also have Comrade Oprah Hamilton here from Ohio. Uhuru Oprah. And I also want to salute Comrade Stephanie Midler. Uhuru Stephanie. Stephanie, who was the national chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement when I first joined, and who has continued to take an incredible stand in every single area of work that she's been assigned to lead. So just want to salute all of you. Oh, and online, sorry, I'm not looking at who's online, but we also want to salute Comrade Janice Kant, Comrade Raya Uhuru, Comrade Raya Fogarty, Uhuru. And I know Ruby Gittleson is somewhere in the building with us, Uhuru Ruby. And there's many other comrades that I could salute, but I wanted to point out the veterans of APSC, because before many of us, were even born, including myself, these comrades had been doing work for decades under the leadership of the chairman, showing what solidarity looks like, going up against serious challenges to do our part to make reparations a household word, which was the chairman's goal. And all of the comrades I just named were marching against genocide from the 1979 on every single year to take the question of genocide out into the colonizer community. So I'm going to leave it at that. I want to reiterate the stand from the Uhuru Solidarity Movement that our MCs laid out, that we are 100% unbreakable solidarity with the Palestinian people. And the way we show that is through white solidarity with Black power. That's what this conference will help us to understand. So finally, I want to say that our program today, I just want to give you a little sneak peek of what you're in for. So we'll be hearing in just a moment from Chairwoman Penny Hess, who will be giving the keynote presentation from the African People's Solidarity Committee. Then we're going to have a workshop on building the mass movement for reparations to African people, building the Uhuru Solidarity Movement this year, and in 2025, recognizing that we can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. We have to take this to a higher level. The party, the chairman, deputy chair have taken everything to a higher level. We have to rise to the occasion. So that's what we'll be talking about. We'll be hearing from many of our comrades. We have a presentation from Nardine Kiswani, who is a leader in the Palestinian struggle in New York and the head of an organization called Within Our Lifetime. We will have lunch with catering from Comrade Kumpe, so that will be a delicious lunch today. We will have a keynote presentation from Chairman Omali Yeshitela, followed by a workshop presented by Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela. Then we will have a statement on the responsibility to pay reparations from Chairwoman Penny before we get into our call to raise $25,000 and more. This year, we're talking about the Reparations Legacy Project, taking this to a higher level, winning millions of dollars, 25 million and more in reparations to African people. So as a launch pad for that commitment, we want to exceed our goal today with the Day of Reparations to African people. And then in the afternoon, we will have some powerful workshops of panels, including Stolen Land, Stolen People, Victory to Anti-Colonial Resistance, featuring the chairman, Chairwoman Penny, and two very special guests, Ward Churchill and Natsu Saito, who are both revolutionary scholars, professors, authors, and profound friends of the Hands Off Uhuru anti-colonial fight back campaign and counteroffensive. And then we will close out the day with a panel on the trial of the Uhuru Three, the political trial of the Uhuru Three, what's at stake and what's ahead of us as we build for December 16th, when we head to Tampa, Florida for the sentencing and show the court and the world that the people stand behind Chairman Omali Yeshitela and demand not 1 millisecond behind the prison walls for Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the Uhuru Three. So with that, I want to say white solidarity with African liberation, unity through reparation. Uhuru.
Thank you, Chair Jesse, for that powerful introduction. I will now introduce our chairwoman, Penny Hess. To kick off this conference today, we are honored to introduce Penny Hess, the chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee. So Penny Hess is the chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, the organization of white people under the direct leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, working for reparations to African people. Penny has been a member of APSC since its founding by the party in 1976. Penny Hess has been a key leading force in every march and walk against genocide since the APSC's first one in 1979. Penny is the author of the book, Overturning the Culture of Violence. She is one of the Uhuru Three. We are honored to bring up Chairwoman Penny Hess.
Uhuru, and thank you. Thank you, Comrade Indigo and Lauren. And I just really want to welcome all of my unindicted co-conspirators today and know that this isn't actually a conspiracy. This is out in the open. This is public. We are under the leadership of the African Revolution to win other white people forward side of history and to win reparations to African people as the return of their stolen resources. So I welcome everybody who's come out today. I appreciate all of you, and also want to salute Veterans for Peace and other organizations that have participated yesterday and today. This is very, very significant. And I want to say that we are in an incredible period. I unite with what Comrade Jesse has said and what the chairman has shown, that the colonial question is once again the main driving force out there in the world today. What else is in the news besides what African, Palestinian, indigenous, and oppressed and colonized peoples around the world are fighting for and winning? And we have the honor of being under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. And I want to salute Deputy Chair Ona Zene-Yeshitela, who's here with us. I want to say that what a powerful leader that you are, and that the chairman has fought for the political understandings that African people have to have power. The chairman has fought against this idea that the contradiction facing African people is racism, and that reduces, as the chairman says, a people, an oppressed people, to a race which has no power, has no base. But that African people, and the chairman has kept this alive and brought this to the center of the political agenda, that that African people have Africa. First of all, Africa is their homeland, and that wherever African people are, they are fighting for political and economic power in their hands. And the question of reparations, as the chairman says, is a political demand. Reparations is about returning to African people all of the stolen wealth from the stolen labor, stolen, the destruction of their communities and the stolen wealth of African people, which has built the wealth of for white people in this country and in this world. And I just really appreciate Deputy Chair Ona because she has built the institutions and leads that. And when we say institutions, that sounds sort of, I don't know, just sort of dry, but no, it's very amazing. It has built these, first of all, radio station, the Uhuru houses are under her office, which are dynamic centers, as we have seen on North St. Louis, just all of the incredible, the basketball court, the garden, the murals, and all of the other things that are in process now, the doula program and the African Women's Center and many other things that are there, that this city has consciously starved out of the African community. And that I just want to say that here is Deputy Chair Ona Yeshitela, her office, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, instituting African workers themselves, building basketball courts, building a restaurant, and the city attacks it. The city attacks it, that it just exposing that they want to maintain the poverty and oppression of African people here and everywhere. That this colonial question that they do everything, including neo-colonial leaders of this city. That can you imagine that opening a restaurant they had to have a hearing about it in the city. There was, people came out, and also that the city got millions, in fact, was it billions of dollars of money from the COVID, the ARPA money that is supposed to go, that has not a cent has gone to the African community. And anyway, so this is the reality. This is the reality of St. Louis, where we live. Just to say one other thing about St. Louis, a little point I wanted to make. What do you call it? I'm sorry. The imaging, was coordinated here. The photographs that they use on the imaging were to bomb the Gaza and to kill Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, was done in St. Louis at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency that is here. And that's a big, if you see on Jefferson Avenue, it's a huge thing that they're building, but they're already here. They are already here. And they're building this huge campus over there that's gigantic and is about, using that to better assassinate leaders and the people that are struggling and rising up. So we have a responsibility. We have to take this on. We have to build this movement. As was said, we have to influence other white people, because there are, as the chairman said, millions of other white people who want to take this stand. And that I salute the chairman. I salute Chairman Omali Yeshitela for being out there from the very beginning, that there was a counterinsurgency in this country against the African liberation movement of the 1960s, which brought a revolutionary period to this whole country, even to the consciousness of white people. This is where there were white demonstrations everywhere and teach-ins and struggles as well because of the leadership and the motion and the driving force of the African liberation movement inside this country, the Black Power movement, and the struggle of the Vietnamese people and the oppressed and colonized peoples on this planet. It was a powerful period, but that period was crushed with what the chairman has defined as a counterinsurgency. An insurgency is when people rise up to fight for their freedom all around the world. A counterinsurgency is what the colonizer does to try to silence the people's struggle. And there is no Geneva Convention for what a counterinsurgency does. There is no rules of engagement that they do anything they want to do. And this is what the US-backed Israel, the state, the illegitimate, colonial, vicious settler state that's not even, it is totally illegitimate, that is US-backed, a US outpost in the Middle East. What they are doing to the Palestinian people is a counterinsurgency. Again, no rules of engagement, anything they want to do. And you see how the US stands by, because the US funds it.
Yeah.
The US wants it. And they make little statements now and then, but they don't stop it. Israel, as the chairman said, wouldn't exist for 30 seconds without funding from the US.
Right.
And not just in money, and the military and the bombs and everything. And also that what they are doing is to the Palestinian people is modeled on what this government did and has done to African and indigenous people right here. So it is not unusual. This is what this government does. This is the insurgency. So I want to, this is why I appreciate Deputy Chair Onozene and the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, because it lets us as white people begin to see the world as it really is, to realize that, they say, I guess in dialectics, that the material basis of where you stand in the world influences or creates how we see the world. So as white people, we see the world as from the position of the colonizers. But the chairman has shown that colonialism is the key driving force in history, not the white left, not some other thing that white people do, but the struggles of African and oppressed peoples here and around the world. So I just also want to salute the comrades from APSC and from USM that work under Deputy Chair's office, by the way. And I would really like to see all of you write something about what it means to work in that capacity directly on this front of the party, and to be able to, to make a statement about what it means for reparations to African people and for white people to do that. So I also, again, I want to express our unconditional solidarity with the right of the Palestinian people to their land, and that it is an anti-colonial struggle. It is not a new struggle. This is, since I came into APSC under the leadership of the chairman in 1976, the question of Palestine has been out there, the struggle of the Palestinian people, 1967, and just constantly. And I was saying a little bit about this last night at the dinner, but I want to say that in 1980s, and I don't really know what year, we actually were looking it up in the Spears, but I can't remember what year it was, but the chairman was asked to speak at a huge event in San Francisco that had a Palestinian and Arab people from throughout the state of California. And this was some big auditorium, there were balconies that went all the way up. And the chairman did speak, and he electrified the room. And there were literally, there might have been 1,000 people there. There might have been 600 or 700 people there. And the entire room, when the chairman, he could hardly, he just, expressed the unity of African people and the African struggle inside the US with Palestinian people. They started chanting and stomping their feet. The chairman couldn't even talk for about 5 or 7, 10 minutes. That they were clapping and they were chanting, "The people united will never be defeated." And it was really clear that they saw it as one struggle against colonialism, the unity of African people. When the chairman came down off the stage, I mean, people rushed him, and people literally went on their knees and kissed his hand. It was so moving, and it just shows the way when the chairman talks about how the white left can go in and separate the African and Palestinian people, but the sentiment is they are one, and the chairman is courageous in just his stand throughout all of never wavered on the right of the Palestinian people to their land, and that the state of Israel is illegitimate and it must go.
Yes.
So I salute the chairman. And Uhuru, how are you? Come on in. No, that's okay. Come on in. Uhuru comrades. And so I want to say about Chairman Omali Yeshitela, because like he said, the chairman formed the African People's Solidarity Committee in 1976. And it was never seen as, a loose kind of thing where we would be allies or that kind of thing. The chairman formed the Solidarity Committee as part of the strategy to win the liberation of Africa and African people. And by winning a sector of the colonizing population, to be able to be part of that strategy, to go into the white community and to say what he says, to lay out, not, oh, here's an interesting speaker, here's something, but this is how we see the world, that we can adopt the viewpoint of the African working class and the oppressed and colonized peoples. We can do that under the leadership of the African Revolutionary Movement. And that is a really powerful thing. And the chairman has given us this understanding that he calls the colonial mode of production. And I want to say that is really powerful. It means that a mode of production means how are things made in this system? How is the wealth created? How do we, how is everything produced, basically? And the chairman is saying that there is nothing that is produced in this country, whether around the world or inside the US, that isn't sitting on the basis of colonialism right here. It is not a phase. It is not something bad that happened in the past, but now it's over. It is the essence of America.
Right.
Like the chairman said, there would be no America without the genocide of the indigenous people and the enslavement of African people. What would it would be indigenous land? There is no America. America is a construct that is based on colonialism. And it's not something that is going to change by changing a policy. It is the essence of this. And what will transform that is as the chairman has said again, is the leadership, and that we have seen this over and over again, of the indigenous movement of African people that shook this system to its very foundation. And that's why they created this counterintelligence, counterinsurgency against the African liberation movement. COINTELPRO is one aspect of that. And that we are seeing the weakness and the decline and the inability of the US government to rule in the same old way. This is one of the things they say, how do you know when revolution is ready? And the thing that I want to say too, that the chairman has always said, is that revolution is not just an action by a few people. It is when an entire population say, we can't live anymore, we have to make this struggle, as we see in Palestine. And that happens and has to happen again inside the US. And it's why the chairman has said that what we are fighting now is the war of ideas. It is our responsibility to win everybody that we can, that African people, indigenous people have a right to their land, to their resources, and reparations in this context, not as a favor, not as a payback, but as the wealth of this system must go into their leadership. And when we have the leadership of indigenous and African people, when the system has been overturned, there can't be a Palestine. There can't be an occupied Palestine. There can't be an Israel. There can't be that, because the peoples of the world must be free. And that is the trajectory we are on. And once, as white people, we see that, that gives us a future, that gives us hope about what this future can be, because no leadership of white people are going to make a transformation of this place. You know, white people created this. Europe created it. It is the oppressed, it is those who have lived at the barrel of the gun who are transforming it. And that's why we are under the leadership of the African working class and the African People's Socialist Party, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who has been out there. There's a couple of things that I want to say. Yes, this is why they are attacking Chairman Omali Yeshitela for his ideas and words. This is unprecedented. And I want to make that really clear, because they acquitted us of being Russian agents, which, first of all, you know, just to say that the chairman would be a Russian agent is, I mean, it's like you want to laugh hysterically, but it's very serious, because they think that they don't have to have a justification for silencing African people. They can just go in and do it. So they said that the chairman was a Russian agent, and Jesse and I. So they acquitted us of that. But then they said we're guilty of conspiracy to want to be a Russian agent. So we're not a Russian agent, but we want to be. And it's like everybody, even the lawyers are, huh? I mean, how can you do this under the law? The foundational crime, quote unquote, is acquitted, but you're still guilty of wanting to do that. It's, you know, it's very, very serious. It's very serious, and it is a thought crime, as we have said, that they're going to put the chairman. They want to put the chairman in prison, and myself, for thinking and speaking, and this has never happened before, and it will permanently change the First Amendment. That, as the chairman always points out, he was enslaved when the First Amendment was written. African people were.
Right.
But for white people, for organizations, they will be able, anything that they see as dissent that they will like, they will now have a legal precedent to prosecute you and put you in prison. So it is very serious. And I want to say too that, yeah, we have a self-interest in fighting against this, but we also have to say that we will also stand by and not let this government silence the African liberation movement and the voice of the African working class, which is the true internationalist voice in this country and the world. We will not allow that to happen. We will fight back against this. And that's what the Hands Off the Leader is about. I was on an interview not too long ago, and the woman asked me, "Are you afraid to go to prison?" And I was kind of shocked at that because I was like, well, nobody wants to go to prison. But first of all, they put African people in prison constantly. I mean, the entire African population, not to mention African leaders, even from the 60s, Mumia, people have been in prison for 50 years. And that if, there's no way I'm ever going to change what I say or see or think.
Right.
And whatever the price is there, and many have gone before. And that I remember from anybody who has this book, The Verdict is in, Reparations Now. If you haven't read the testimony of Mufwindi Lake, I mean, it is so powerful. And he spoke, this is all the testimony from the first tribunal on reparations to African people sponsored by the African People's Socialist Party, held in Brooklyn, New York in 1982. And it had just incredible testimony, including from Tupac Shakur's mother, Afeni Shakur, just many, many people that were really key and important, the key leaders of the African liberation movement of that time. And Mufwindi Lake was somebody that the party has known. The party still works with Carolyn Lake, his widow, in Birmingham, Alabama. I know that we're gonna be there soon. And that he is saying that to be in prison, what they did, and he was tortured. He was extremely tortured in prison. And he took a stand that he would not, as he said, he would not let them break him. And they forced him to, in an unheated cell in the winter, to lay on the floor or on a concrete slab. That was his bed, was a concrete slab. They took his clothes away, and all he had, they would give you 2 squares of toilet paper. That's all he had, no cover. So he put those over his chest as 2 pieces of toilet paper, as to say that that was his blanket. And he said that every time the guards came in, that even though he was, emotionally like just in pain, he would get up and he would start boxing and running around because he would never let the guards see him, at rest or anything. And he was in prison like that in segregation for 12 years. They never gave him a book or anything to read. This is what he did, and he survived, and he was an amazing, amazing leader. So I just want to say prison. The chairman wrote, "Today I write you from the bowels of hell." This is when he was in prison. "Again, I'm in the white man's jail, but jail is nothing new to me, as it is nothing new to any Black man who has resisted America's racist way of life. Many men who resisted are dead. Death and jails have always been weapons whites have used to keep Black people chained by fear. For me, there can only be one choice. I will either live as a man or die as a man. It's that simple." Such rhetoric simultaneously emboldened and frightened his supporters. This is from an article written by him. But the chairman said, "For the entire period I am in their jail, I will neither eat their food nor drink their water." This is from the 60s. He was put in prison and he immediately went on a hunger strike. "And they shall release me alive, or they shall keep me for as long as it takes to die without food and water. Under these conditions, they may have my body, but my soul belongs to Black folks." They're really powerful. And there is no revolutionary struggle that didn't involve the organizers going to prison now and then.
Yeah.
I just want to say that Sinwar, who was assassinated last week, I think it was, in Gaza, who was a leader of Hamas, was really powerful. The thing is that it just sounded like our movement when I read the descriptions of him. And he said that from that child who threw the first stone at the occupier, I learned in the streets of Gaza that a person is not measured by the years of his life, but by what he gives to his people. And that was my life, prisons and battles and pain and hope. I entered prison for the first time in 1988, and I was sentenced to life imprisonment. But I did not know the way to fear. In those dark cells, I saw in every wall a window to the distant horizon, and in every bar a light illuminating the path to freedom. My advice to you, do not fear prisons, for they are only part of our long path to freedom. Uhuru, it's really powerful. And just to say really quick, this is a book, actually I read it as a pamphlet many years ago, and I saw that it was published as a book. Her name is Shala Talebi. She was a resistance fighter of the Iranian Revolution in 1979. And she is talking about how she survived torture under the US-backed Shah of Iran's Savak, which was their secret political police of that, and that not only the usual cigarettes on the back, but also that that in the room next to her, her brother was tortured to death, and she could, and she could hear that, and that was the worst torture. They broke his legs and twisted them until he died. And this is what this government does, and that's only, we're not even talking about all over the world, and the fact that African people in this country, there is no family of African people that doesn't have somebody with a relationship to this horrible prison system right here of what they do. And this is what the colonial reality is. I just want to say a couple things. I know I would just like to have a few more minutes, because I want to say that the white left attacked APSC when it was formed by the African People's Socialist Party in 1976. And they were like, oh, they slander, basically they were attacking the party. And they were saying that meant that we couldn't think for ourselves, and, just white nationalist stuff that they said about us. And so I just want to say that. But we took it on, and the chairman kicked their ass in many places, because they can't come in as white people who say they're socialists and attack the African liberation movement, because they want to be in power as the socialists in charge, and African and the colonized under their leadership. Chairman, no way. That struggle took on. It was very history, and I would really like to have a PowerPoint one of these days when we take this on. And that just to say, there's other things that I want to talk about, but I did write the Overturning the Culture of Violence under the leadership of the chairman to talk to white people. This is the book, because white people did horrible things. Everything that we know about torture, white regular people did it to Africans. The lynching, the torture, just the burning of human beings. We did all this, burning down every time African people all over this country, not just Tulsa, Oklahoma. Every state had places and cities that African people started just to could we just live our lives and be alone, we'll make our own economy, and very successful. And as soon as there's success, white people are in there burning them, killing them, burning the whole city to the ground. Rosewood, Florida, that's a plaque now in the middle of the woods in Florida. That was a thriving African town. And this is what we did, and that what we did to the indigenous people and the African people when we, it's unspeakable. And I remember when we were studying and getting the materials together to write the book Overturning the Culture of Violence, and we have to know this. We have to know this. The white people took indigenous women and cut out their vaginas and used their vaginas as saddle horns and slowly killed them in front of their own children. We did horrible, horrible things. We took, you know, African people that were being lynched, African women were lynched, and white people cut out if a woman was pregnant and they cut out the baby and used it as a ball to throw around. I mean, just and I think the thing that is so deep is that we're the ones that I'm talking about. I'm saying that ironically, but the white people are the ones that then say, we are the highest civilization. Why are you so upset? What are you screaming about to African people? We know the way. We brought civilization. We brought, and even liberals. I'm not talking about, you know, sort of the classic colonizer going into Africa with the Bible. I'm saying right here,
Right.
you know, the white left, the whole thing of, well, I don't know why the chairman is so passionate, you know, and all of this. This is us. This is what white people have done, and that we do have to look at it. We have to say we take responsibility for that, and that's why the stand of reparations is a self-criticism to African people. But this is so important and so good because this enables us to have a principled relationship for the first time, not as trying to be a colonizer, trying to control African people and others around the world, but in an honest relationship to them under the leadership of the party, because the party has a relationship with all the oppressed peoples in the world. And it is a beautiful place to be. That is the world that we want. That is the dynamic world. So let me just say a few more things, because there are a lot of things I would like to say, but one of the things that Hands Off Uhuru has been able to do is for us to meet and just know comrades that we wouldn't have known, like Comrade John might not have known you. I don't think we ran in the same circles, so to speak. But yet here we are. And I think that the Green Party as well. And you know, when Jill Stein came, and I mean, it's very exciting and very important. And this is the leadership that the chairman gave to Hands Off Uhuru to open it up to everyone. And as I said, all kinds of people who wouldn't have been there were there. And I think that the thing that the chairman has been able to do with this is to redefine what it means to be progressive. Yeah, to be progressive means you stand under the leadership of the African Revolution, regardless of who you are or what else you do. That is the defining question. Do you stand in solidarity with African people having power over their lives? And that's what this is about. So I just want to say this is going to be a great day. I'm very excited. We're going to hear from the chairman very shortly. And I know there's a wonderful program. It's going to be, you know, want everybody to sign up and join USM and just say hands off Uhuru, hands off Africa, unity through Uhuru.
Uhuru, thank you, Penny, for that inspiring presentation, that powerful, moving presentation about why we're called to do this work and why it's so important. So now I would like to introduce Len Demmer, the National Membership Chair of USM, and Jesse Neville, the Chair of USM, and one of the Uhuru Three that will be leading a workshop on how to take what Chairwoman Penny said and to put it in action this next year in a practical way. So please join me in welcoming Len and Jesse.
Uhuru, everybody. All right, let me just pull my computer up here. All right, so okay, so yeah, I think we have a PowerPoint that we're gonna pull up here. I just want to make sure that's pulled up. All right, yes, so white solidarity with African liberation building principled unity with all colonized and oppressed peoples. My name is Len. I'm the St. Louis chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and the membership coordinator of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. I'm also a member of the African People Solidarity Committee, and this has really been an amazing weekend. Really just so honored to participate in this 45-year plus tradition of these Days of Reparations to African People campaign. It's really just amazing to be a part of something that is just so relevant today, just as it was 45 years ago, and maybe even more so. The party is relentless, and we get to participate in overturning a parasitic, sickening system. We get to participate in that. So I just want to salute all of you for being here online as well. Part of this conference is, we have a goal, and we want to leave this conference with a deepened commitment to go out into the world and build the Uhuru Solidarity Movement like it's never been built before. And we recognize that this is our responsibility as white people. And when the US government is trying to crush this movement and put our leaders in prison for doing the just thing, for fighting for reparations. They're trying to crush free speech. The US government is doing this, and they continue to just send billions of dollars to Israel to continue this genocide against the Palestinian people. And, we see now that this question of colonialism is really exploding all over the world on campuses, in city council meetings. People are talking about colonialism, and everyone's recognizing that this is a contradiction. So this is something that the chairman has been fighting for decades, and fighting to make colonialism and to make reparations something that people are talking about, and it is happening now in front of our very eyes. And white people out there are looking for the answer, and we must seize this moment. And we have to take action right now, and we have to get organized under the leadership of the African working class, upon whose backs this whole system was created. So the stakes are really, really high, and the potential of building USM is huge. So to get us started, I just want to really salute the chairman, and I want to salute Deputy Chair Onezine Yeshitela. And I know that I speak for everybody here when I say that I'm really deeply honored to work under their leadership and the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. And I'm honored to be a part of the strategy and to be counted among the ranks of white people who have taken the stance of principled solidarity with the African-led struggle, for a world through genuine peace and through justice and reparation. So just really salute them. And I also really want to salute my leadership as well, Chairwoman Penny Hess and USM Chair Jesse Neville. Their courage and their relentlessness, it just, bringing all of us into solidarity, and, bringing just the solidarity that they bring out into the world is just so profoundly inspiring and really exemplary. Just really salute both of you. Room. And I also just really want to salute all my comrades in the African People Solidarity Committee. This is just amazing to have most of you here and to work with you closely in the Solidarity Committee. And I just salute, the epic, historic walks against genocide that have been going on since 1979. These are just some old photos. You can go through the next couple slides. These are just some historic things, pictures from the 80s, and just, really, 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 really profound. So our commitment this year is, reparations and membership at a higher level than ever before. And I want to call up Chair Jesse to talk a little bit about, what we're doing moving forward. Uhuru, Jesse.
Uhuru. Thank you, Comrade Len. And first of all, I just want to give another round of applause for Chairwoman Penny Hess's very powerful presentation. And I unite with Lauren that it was a deeply moving and challenging kind of presentation that really calls us to task and calls on us to say, what are we going to do in this period? What will our legacy be? What will the stand be that we choose to take at this critical moment in history? So that's what we'll be talking about now. in concrete form through building the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. As has been stated by other speakers, the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is the mass organization of white people working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, working in the white community for reparations to African people and to build material solidarity with the African liberation movement. We have 3 principles of unity. So if you're not a member and you become a member, this is what you are saying you believe. 1, that we are under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. Chairwoman Penny just laid out the whole history of the violence and opportunism and complicity of the white population in this colonial system. White people are not going to lead this struggle because we benefit from this social system, but we do have a place in it and an interest in seeing it win, in being a part of it winning. And our place, our role is to work under the leadership of the most oppressed segment of the human population who are at the vanguard of fighting to free all human beings from oppression, which is the African working class. And we have an assignment, which is principle of unity number 2, to go into the white community to win reparations to African people, to win recognition that everything we have as white people, whether we are a poor white person or part of the 1%, that what we have access to is dripping in the blood of African people on the stolen land of the conquered land of the indigenous people. And we have to fight for reparations to African people. And number 3, our third principle of unity is that we stand in solidarity with African self-determination. This is not a struggle for us to change the ideas in our heads, as Chairwoman Penny said, to unlearn our racist attitudes and try to make other white people have more favorable attitudes towards African people, which assumes that the future of African people is still going to hinge on the opinion of white people. It's a struggle for African people to have power over their own lives, Black power over their own communities, their own resources, the destinies of their children. That is what sets the African People's Socialist Party apart from anything else in the world. And therefore, it sets us apart as the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. There is no other organization, even remotely like this. It is absolutely unique, and it is the home for all white people who want to stand on the side of true justice and peace, which can only be possible through reparations to African people. So the chairman has, before I say that, the attack on Chairman Omali Yeshitela is an attack on African people. It is an attack on the mere thought that African people would have to be free of this colonial oppression. And as Chairwoman Penny has explained so many times, part of that attack was indicting Chairwoman Penny Hess and myself as representatives of you, of white people who want to break from our relationship to this colonial ruling class and attach our future to the future of the oppressed and exploited peoples of the world. They don't want to see this strategy come to life. They don't want to see what Chairman Omali Yeshitela believed was possible in 1976 when he founded the African People's Solidarity Committee. They don't want to see that strategy come to life. That's why they banged down the doors of this building too, a building that has a slogan, "Unity through reparations," on the front of the building. They don't want to see unity through reparations. They say we're sowing division, but they attacked a building with unity through reparations on the banner in front. And the chairman has used this attack to build the movement. He said, defense committee, what defense? We're not defending ourselves. Make them defend themselves. Make the FBI defend itself. Make the US government have to defend itself. Make them have to explain what happened to their First Amendment. African people didn't write that First Amendment. They were enslaved, as Chairwoman Penny said, as the chairman has always pointed out, when that Bill of Rights was written. So make them have to fight themselves. And the way you do that is by launching a counteroffensive. That's what the chairman did. Not just to keep the Uhuru 3 out of prison, but to build the struggle against colonialism. Because putting the Uhuru 3 in prison is meant to destroy the struggle against colonialism. So the way you fight back against that is you grow the struggle against colonialism. And we have a role in that as white people. because when we join the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, we are a part of the struggle against colonialism. We are colonizers against colonialism under the leadership of the colonized, under the leadership of the African working class. So, you know, as we've heard from our other speakers, the whole political landscape is different now. Everybody's talking about colonialism, where Palestine may have been treated as a question of apartheid or racism at one point. Now it is widely understood as a question of colonialism, as a struggle for land, for power, for self-determination, for independence from colonial domination. And the same is true of the struggle of African people inside this country. So we have to seize this moment. Reparations. Everyone's talking about reparations now. It was considered a lunatic fringe concept when the party worked to make it a household word. The white left, as Chairwoman Penny said, attacked the Solidarity Movement for raising the question of reparations. Now you have city councils in cities throughout this country, including right here in St. Louis, the city where the St. Louis police collaborated with the FBI's attack on the leader of the reparations struggle. You have city council forming a reparations commission to say that they want to study proposals for reparations to African people in the city of St. Louis, somehow overlooking the fact that reparations is already happening in the city of St. Louis in the form of the Black Power blueprint. So what do we do in the face of all of this? We can't just be in the corner. We have to do what Deputy Chair and the Chairman are saying. We got to get involved. We got to intervene. We have to claim the leadership of this moment, of this reparations moment for the African People's Socialist Party, for Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who made reparations a household word and who defined reparations as a revolutionary demand, not just a payout, not just some kind of welfare program that the city might implement and rebrand it as a reparations program. Reparations is about repairing the damage of a system that took all power out of the hands of African people. The only way you repair that damage is for African people to take back that power. And that's what the Uhuru movement is doing. So the political environment is fertile ground for us to build the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And we have seen that white people are looking for this. The only reason why we are not having a situation where we have to hold this conference with the garage door open and people flooding every single room and, oh my God, we need a bigger Solidarity Center, is because white people don't yet know that the Uhuru Solidarity Center is here, that the Uhuru Solidarity Movement exists. And that's not something we can just sit around and complain about. It's something we have to do something about that. We have to do everything we can to change that reality so that when a white person feels that despair, feels what Aaron Bushnell felt when he took a can of kerosene and a lighter out to make that statement that he will not be complicit in genocide, that the first thought that comes to his mind is, well, I heard about the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Let me look more into that, because that's where I'm supposed to be. That is my home. That is my future. That is my vehicle for my own liberation, for my own ability to become one with the human family and not part of this colonizer parasitic reality that separates me from the rest of humanity. So that's the responsibility that we have. We're seeing the tremendous opportunity to build the Uhuru Solidarity Movement like never before. And all of the white people who are out there who are disgusted by this system and who might even be terrified of what this system will do or is doing, even to some sectors of the white population. Right now, there's all of this, and I know the chairman will talk more about this later, there's all of this hullabaloo, if you will, about fascism. People might have heard that John Kelly, the former general in the Trump administration, I think he was his chief, came out and said that Trump was an admirer of Adolf Hitler and that he was a fascist. And then Kamala Harris came out and said, yes, I believe Trump is a fascist. And that's supposed to be, something that terrifies us into the arms of the Democratic Party, that we run towards Kamala Harris as the solution to the looming threat of fascism that is coming to this country. But as the chairman has always said, fascism is when white people begin to experience or fear that they might experience just a measure of the kind of suffering and oppression that is normal for everybody else on the planet Earth under colonialism. There was no talk of fascism when white people were doing to indigenous and African people what Chairwoman Penny just described and documented in the book, Overturning the Culture of Violence. And at the same time, Kamala Harris and her campaign are appealing to other sectors of the white population who fear for their interests. They use issues like abortion rights, reproductive health, marginalization and exploitation of the LGBT community, of trans people, to say you should come side with the Democrats against the evil fascist Donald Trump. But all that is really about is trying to win sectors of the white population to unite with the colonial system, to see a solution for contradictions we're having within this system as getting more rights for ourselves on the backs of African people. But the real fight back for LGBT white people, for white women, for white workers, for white people with disabilities is the anti-colonial fight back. The real future, the real end of oppression for all sectors, even of the white population, is to get rid of the foundation upon which that oppression rests, which is the oppression of African people. African people are fighting for everyone. They're fighting for everyone's future, for everyone's liberation, including ours. But we have to take responsibility for our history. We can't just saunter into it and say, okay, we're here. We want to, good luck, and we want to wish you the best or something like that. We have to face the blood on our hands before we can use those hands to contribute towards the building of a new world, the new world that African and colonized peoples are working every single day to bring into reality in Chairman Omali Yeshitela's lifetime. So I will end by saying that this is our task, comrades, in the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. If you're not a member, join today. Go to uhurusolidarity.org/join. It's more than just making a one-time or monthly contribution to the work of the Uhuru movement, although that is an incredibly important part of it, because it means the baseline for being a member of USM is that you are paying reparations to African people. But it also means bringing your skills, your passion, your talents, your everything of who you are to be put towards the liberation of African and oppressed peoples of the world. There is a place for every single person in this movement. We have so many comrades who, as like Chairwoman Penny said, we might not have even ever met each other. And we might all like totally different music and be from completely different backgrounds, but we are bonded by the most meaningful, beautiful thing that you can possibly share with another human being, which is the vision of the world that you want to be a part of, and the commitment to struggle to end the system that is bleeding and torturing the peoples of the world today for our benefit. So our goals for this upcoming year are to massively promote and build the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, to go beyond 1,000 members to be recruited to join the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in this year, to go onto the campuses. We saw all these uprisings this past year on campuses of students who are coming out in support of Palestine. There were even articles in the New York Times saying that Zionist students are finding it difficult to make friends when they go to college, because the litmus test for social acceptance is whether or not you are in support of the Palestinian people. And even some professors have found that they can't get their students to listen if they're not talking about colonialism. So where are we? We have to be talking to those students. Yeah. We have to be talking with those professors. We have to do a campus tour in 2025 to be speaking on all of these campuses and winning students. If the Uhuru Movement and the African People's Solidarity Committee had never done that, I wouldn't even be standing here right now, because I picked up a flyer at the University of South Florida after seeing Chairwoman Penny Hess speak at New College of Florida in Sarasota. So we have to be on these campuses. We have to win these white students to join and build the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And we will also be talking about building the Reparations Legacy Project. This has to be our major focus in 2025. This is a campaign that the chairman and deputy chair of the party called on us, struggled with us to really internalize, that we have to think way bigger when we talk about reparations. We have to win millionaires, billionaires, which is a lot less rare than one might assume in the white community. There are a lot of white families who have millions of dollars, who might just, maybe even in this room, there are people who have access to millions of dollars. And we have to go out there and win those white people to participate in the redistribution of the wealth through reparations to Black Star Industries. We also have to challenge the ruling class, banks, corporations, even these so-called philanthropists. to take the stand of reparations to African people, to contribute resources towards the work of the Black Power Blueprint and Black Star Industries. And finally, we have to build hands off Uhuru. As the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, we have a responsibility in this campaign to take it out to the white community, to win all the white people that we can, to stand with Chairman Omali Yeshitela, to stand with the Uhuru Three, to defend and protect the party's programs of African self-determination, which are coming under attack by the US government in a variety of forms on multiple different levels, from the Pinellas County Commission in St. Petersburg, Florida, to the FBI on the federal level. This government is coming for these institutions, and we have to stand as a buffer between all of the, these new African cities that the party is building, like Chairwoman Penny has said, Rosewood, Tulsa. There were 1,200, I think I read once, 1,200 at least African towns like that in this country. And like Chairwoman Penny said, every single one of them was crushed, was burned to the ground by white people sanctioned by the government. So this time around, it has to be the white people standing between the government and African communities that are fighting to rebuild and regain their power. And that's what we have to commit to doing. So that's basically what I wanted to say for the overview of our workshop. And I'll just close by saying that Chairman Omali Yeshitela helps us understand that colonialism is our enemy too. Colonialism is the enemy of all of humanity, and African liberation is the liberation for all of humanity. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Wow. Thank you so much, Jesse. That was really, really mobilizing. Yeah, really appreciate that. So, all right, so we can jump into the workshop. And yeah, so, talking about our goals this year, we, like Jesse might have mentioned, we want to bring our membership to 1,000 members this year. And we, with that, we also really want to hugely increase our ability to raise massive reparations from the white community like we have never done before. And we hear a lot about this racial wealth gap that's growing larger every single day. And we see the millions of dollars that white people have access to and the social wealth that white people have access to. And we have to win those wealthy white people and the corporations and the white ruling class to turn over those resources, to turn over those millions of dollars and more to the anti-colonial programs of the African People's Socialist Party through our campaign called the Reparations Legacy Project, like Jesse mentioned. And so I now want to invite up Comrade Kara, who is in Oakland, the new Reparations Legacy Project coordinator, to talk a little bit more about that. So Uhuru, Kara.
Uhuru, thank you so much. Thank you, Len. I'm so happy to be here, so honored to be part of this movement. My name is Kara, and I am the new coordinator of the Reparations Legacy Project. As the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, we fully unite with the struggle from the party for us to relaunch this campaign in 2025 and build it as our major focus of raising reparations. This was a program initiated in 2020 based on the leadership of the chairman and deputy chair, who were calling for USM to take the reparations demand to the moneyed sector of the white population. This is based on the recognition that the resources we have access to in the white community are built on the legacy of slavery and colonialism. Next slide. So according to the Brookings Institute, the average white household's net worth is about 9 times that of the average Black household. So for instance, in 2021, the median wealth of white households was $250,400 compared to just $27,100 for Black households. These statistics reveal the reality of colonialism, the exploitation of people and of resources for the benefit of the colonizers, white people. But the party has been building programs of political and economic power that are overturning these conditions and advancing an anti-colonial agenda, building power in the hands of the African working class and negating the colonial mode of production. Next slide. So the Reparations Legacy Project poses the question, what will our legacy be? As the chairman has stated, slavery is both of our legacies. White people inherited the wealth of slavery, Black people inherited the poverty of slavery. 40 years ago, during the First World Tribunal on reparations to African people held in 1981 in Brooklyn, New York, the chairman made it his goal to make reparations a household word, and he obviously succeeded. Uhuru, thank you. And Len, I think you're up now.
Oh, oops, sorry. All right. All right, I was in the zone. I was in the slideshow zone. Okay, so thank you so much, Kara, and I'm really excited to see what you can do to help take the Reparations Legacy Project to the next level this year. It's really, really exciting to see. So in addition to building the Reparations Legacy Project, we also really want to build this Solidarity Center, and we want to build this place as a bustling hub of volunteers. Oh, sorry, my slides got a little out of order here somehow. So, okay, never mind. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So thank you, Kara. So yeah, we want to take a moment and salute all of our Reparations Legacy Project donors, including those who have been donors even before the Reparations Legacy Project actually existed. And so we want to go ahead and take a moment on slide 14 here to thank John, who is one of the Reparations Legacy Project's largest donors to date, who we met through the food-funded presentation that was conducted by Uhuru Foods and Pies a couple years ago. And John was moved by a workshop that Deputy Chair Ona presented, and he wound up giving over $50,000 to the community basketball court. And that was one of the main projects that the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and RLP, the Reparations Legacy Project, was focused on raising reparations for in 2021. So that was amazing. And we also really want to appreciate our Reparations Legacy Project donor, Lottie, who runs a website called Reparations for Slavery, Hillary, who we met through a cold call, actually, and wound up being one to donate thousands of dollars to the programs of the party. And USM members and RLP donors, Mark, Janice, Maureen, Ruby, Allie, Leah, and Nick. So I just want to salute all of you. And we also want to, Give a round of applause. And we also want to really salute and appreciate Matt, Laura, Zoe, John, Thomas, Marcus, Victoria, Charles, Katie, Jason, Martha. And we want to really, really deeply salute Angelica for not only being a Reparations Legacy Project donor, but also winning the Uhuru Solidarity Movement grants from the Community Arts and Movement Project, and always really fighting to get these projects funded. So Uhuru, comrades, thank you, Angelica. All right, and we also really want to thank some of our other donors, Izzy, Helen, and Connie, who we met through attending a resource generation conference called Transforming Philanthropy. And we also met several other important connections, including Benjamin and a St. Louis-based resource generation member, Julia, who runs Solidarity Economy. And she actually introduced us to so many other supporters, including Square, who wound up being a significant contribution to APEDF, the African People's Education and Defense Fund. So thank you so much to all of our donors and to all of our Reparations Legacy Project advocates. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Kara. Uhuru, Kara. Kara, are you there?
I am.
Okay.
Uhuru. So, sorry, I'm trying to get back onto my slides.
Yeah, we're on slide 15 now.
Okay, I know that they got out of okay, gotcha. Yes, thank you, Len. All right, sorry. Salute I want to salute all of our RLP donors, our Reparations Legacy Project donors. And moving forward in the next few months, we'll be developing our plan of action to build this campaign in 2025 with the goal to hold a Reparations Legacy Conference in June of 2025. We'll be launching an updated website, creating new brochures and literature, and working with the Office of Deputy Chair Ona Zane to plan reparations legacy tours of the Black Power Blueprint, where we can organize prospective donors to come to St. Louis and see with their own eyes the transformative work the party is doing and what they can be a part of.
Okay.
One of the most important fronts of reparations work in this period has been the incredible grants team, led by the Office of Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela. Salute to the leadership of Maureen, Janice, Stephanie, Wendy Craig, and our Reparations Legacy Project grants representative, Comrade Leah. This is one of the ways you can get involved in this work. Join the grants team as a front of the reparations legacy work. Grant writers and researchers are needed for this critical work. Our mission this upcoming year is to build this front of our reparations work. We want to make connections, meet people, attend conferences, go to reparations commissions meetings in our cities, go to city council meetings, go everywhere these conversations are taking place and intervene. Bring the party's revolutionary stance of reparations to the masses. We have to think big this year, and we can start that today. So what will your legacy be? Today, you can become a Reparations Legacy Project donor. This event today has a goal to raise $25,000. There are so many white people out there who can contribute that amount just today. And if you're in this room or online, we want to hear from you. You can also become a Reparations Legacy Project advocate and organize a network of white people with access to wealth who want to be a part of the real redistribution of wealth back into the hands of African people. As a Reparations Legacy Project donor and advocate, you can be part of building the amazing, powerful programs of the party's institutions. The Black Power Blueprint's dual power programs are so unique because they are about building power in the hands of the African working class. They are not just programs that address the symptoms of colonial oppression. They are part of a strategy to overturn the foundation of this whole parasitic system. So I'm calling on you to join the Reparations Legacy Project Committee today. Bring your skills and passion for reparations and justice. Let's be creative. Let's think outside the box. This is a new period. Let's rise to the occasion. Uhuru.
All right, can everybody hear me on the Zoom? All right, so I just said let's rise to the occasion. Yeah, just really appreciating that. So thank you so much, Kara. So okay, so let's continue on to our workshop here. So in addition to building the reparations work with the Reparations Legacy Project, we also want to build this Solidarity Center, like I accidentally said earlier. So we want to build this building, this center, as a bustling hub of volunteers, of members, events, and meetings, and more. So on the next slide here, this is a picture of the front of the Solidarity Center, which we are all in this building right now. And this is a really incredibly significant building. And it's an honor to be having this Days of Reparations campaign, conference here today. This building is owned by the African People's Socialist Party, where we as Solidarity have the honor to work out of, to organize out of, and we have this, like Jesse said, this giant Unity Through Reparations banner outside of the front that thousands of white people drive by every single day. And this is our way of constantly reminding the white community here that we will not be complicit in genocide and that we unite with African self-determination and that reparations is the way forward. So in 2025, we want to continue to really build the center as a creative space for our volunteers and for our members, and a place to share our revolutionary poetry and music and to get together for discussions and for panels. And a place for meetings and studies. Like we want to do lunchtime studies, which is something that comrades used to do many years ago. And we also want to open up this Solidarity Center as a space that other organizations can use, for local meetings or to have events here as well. And, we really want to emulate the historic Measure O housing campaign that the African People's Solidarity Committee launched many, many years ago in Oakland, where they had these major days of drops and postering. They distributed thousands and thousands of flyers in neighborhoods across Oakland. And, we want this Solidarity Center to be a place where volunteers can come to get a political overview with a speaker from the party and get excited about going out into the world with this message of solidarity. And we want to bring our members and our volunteers into the work of Uhuru Planet Reparations apparel and, get to work out there in the garage with making shirts and helping with inventory and social media and so much more. And we want to have, consistent volunteer nights. We do have volunteer nights now, but we want to make it, a consistent thing, and have people participate in making updates to the center itself, like painting and building bookshelves. And, we really want to make this center a place where we can also distribute Uhuru foods and pies like we have out there right now. And in the center there, that's a photo of Comrade Paul. He is a longtime member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and a woodworker. And he came to St. Louis earlier this summer and built this beautiful case that will be a part of the Uhuru Foods and Pies Bakery. Very beautiful. It was amazing to have him here. And just as a reminder for people that are in town here, we're having on Friday, November 8th, we're having at 6:30 p.m. we're having a pie tasting here at the Solidarity Center. So if you're local in the area, come stop by, taste some pies, get some pies for your holiday times, and mark your calendars and be on the lookout for more info about that. So another facet of this upcoming, the goals for this upcoming year is building the NTU volunteer program. And the NTU program is this amazing volunteer initiative that was created by Deputy Chair Ona, and NTU means new to Uhuru. And Deputy Chair has been calling on USM to adopt this strategy, in the work that we do. So this means leaving the office. This means, going out into the world and building support for the programs and the institutions of the party. This also means inviting our volunteers and our members to participate in Black Power Blueprint Garden work days and other volunteer days of all of the institutions. And here are just some photos of the Black Power Blueprint Vanguard basketball court. This was the grand opening that we had, and it was this beautiful brand new court that you can see on West Florissant in North City, a neighborhood where kids were just playing basketball in the streets, with around cars and stuff. And this was, an amazing community event, and that comrades like Kitty and Mark, had the honor to participate in. And as an NTU volunteer and a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, you can also be a part of these programs. This is just a snippet of what you can be a part of. And the next goal of the upcoming year, also that we want to talk about, is building the Uhuru Solidarity Movement on campuses, and we want to do that across the U.S. and beyond. And I want to invite up Comrade Lauren to talk a little bit more about building USM on campuses and our student commission. So Uhuru, Lauren.
Yeah, my name is Lauren. I'm the new student commission coordinator. And our main goal with the Student Commission is to go onto campuses in cities all across America and win students to become members of USM, to get organized under the African Revolution, and to build groups of anti-colonial solidarity on their campuses. The party has a long tradition of organizing and speaking on college campuses, and we're called on to do our part to win white students to join that revolutionary work. The APSPs created this path for students to refuse to follow the traditional path that they're put on when they join college and join universities, which trains them to become successful colonizers and build more wealth for themselves, which is built on a basis of stolen wealth. So instead, we want to reach those students and those student leaders that want to join the party's work of ending colonialism and fighting for the revolutionary demand of reparations. In 2025, we want to initiate a plan of action to consolidate events for a fall campus speaking tour, and that'll be part of the Days of Reparations to African Peoples campaign. So by this time next year, we want to have rooms booked on campuses for the Uhuru 3 and for any of our Solidarity comrades to come and speak about the significance of the work of the APSP and how students can get involved. So to do that, we want to have outreach tables on campuses and have rallies on campuses. We want to flyer and poster and get the word out. And we can help students have fundraisers to raise reparations, to plan teach-ins, to have book readings and demonstrations. This year, we saw that one of the biggest student uprisings in years has occurred, and students and professors are demanding an end to genocide and talking about colonialism. The party has forced the colonial question back to the center stage, and we want to seize this moment. So our goal moving forward is to reach out and speak to professors and to students and to student organizations and to win them to host speaking events on their campuses. This time next year, we want Days of Reparations to African People events lined up on colleges across the country, and that means getting your participation. So if you're a student or if you're a professor, if you work on a college campus, or if you know somebody that does that would be interested, then help them to get involved and join the Student Commission. So you can let us know, put it in the Q&A after the workshop, and reach out to us and we'll let you know the next steps of how to get involved and join the exciting work. Uhuru.
Yes, as we were saying earlier, there are uprisings happening, on campuses across the U.S. And if you're a student or a professor or you're part of that movement, we want to talk to you. We want to get you involved in an organization under the leadership of the African working class, to make some real change. So say so in the chat, or if you're in the room here, we're going to open it up in a little bit and have a Q&A session. So looking forward to hearing from everybody about that. So on our next area here, we want to talk about moving forward, how we want to take USM's outreach to new heights. And we want our promotional strategy to bring the Uhuru Solidarity Movement to a whole new level. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. So we want to launch a massive outreach campaign with national days of tabling, with national days of postering, and national days of flyer drops. And we also want these national outreach days to be part of building membership of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. We want to show our volunteers the political significance of the work that we're doing on the ground and to win them to take the next step and become card-carrying members of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. We want the historic Measure O campaign of APSC to reverberate in all of the cities where our active members will be doing outreach and mobilize volunteers to participate in this revolutionary work. And one of the best forms of outreach for USM is our outreach tables. And this is where we set up a table at farmers markets, festivals, pride parades, parks, street corners, outside of Whole Foods, anywhere where white people will be. And we want to engage with them, and we want to pass out literature, sell burning spear newspapers, talk to them about colonialism, talk to them about the historic party, talk to them about the Black Power blueprint, and win them to sign up on our mailing list and to become members of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And on this next slide, here are just some more photos of our comrades in Oakland, in Tacoma, Columbus, Ohio, holding outreach tables. And I want to now bring up Comrade Dylan, who has traveled all the way here from Columbus, Ohio, to talk a little bit about the outreach table that he and Indigo had during our National Day of Tabling earlier this year for Earth Day. Dylan.
Uhuru, everyone. It's an honor to be here. We did some tabling in Columbus, Ohio. We hosted a watch party, and at Ohio State University, we engaged a lot of students, some few faculty, reaching out, trying to provoke conversation using the slogan, "Colonialism caused climate change." I'd say for anyone who is new to tabling, it was very new to me. I was very nervous. I didn't really know how to talk to people or just get their attention. And I'd say it's worth the experience, and I encourage you to go out of your comfort zone and to reach new heights.
Yes. Thank you. And I really want to just salute Dylan and Indigo, our MC today. They traveled here with Comrade Opa from the Columbus, Ohio area. Yeah, really, really great. So on the next slide, this is just what our table usually looks like here in St. Louis, the home of Uhuru Planet, Reparations Apparel. But if you're interested in holding an outreach table in your city, no experience required. And let us know in the chat if that's something you're interested in. And in our next Q&A section, we let us know about that. And we'll be holding table trainings and stuff like that, and outreach trainings. And we want to teach you how to do this. It's easy, and you can go ahead and take that step to organize in your city. We would love to help you get started. So we're getting through this presentation here. We're almost through. So on the next section here, we also really want to just talk about building regional events. And not only do we want to escalate our outreach efforts in cities across the U.S., but we want to activate the members that are in all of our regions right now, by building events consistently, like I said before. So we're calling on all of our regions to hold regular studies of the Burning Spear newspaper. This is the oldest Black Power newspaper in print. It's the party's newspaper. It is, written by the international African working class community, and it's really important for white people to read and study this newspaper. It is a way that we, who are not able to see, we as white people who are born on the pedestal of colonialism, we're not able to see the colonial conditions that the majority of the world live in every single day. So for us to be able to read this newspaper that is an anti-colonial newspaper, this is our way to see the future moving forward. So we want to sell this paper, we want to study this paper, and get it into the hands of white people everywhere. And we're also calling on regions to hold monthly events like teach-ins and rallies, open meetings. You can just rent a room in the library. You can come to the Solidarity Center, pick a space in the park, anywhere. You can hold a meeting literally anywhere. And it's, we can help you get started with that. And we also want all of the regions to hold more political actions, like this vigil for Aaron Bushnell that we had in St. Louis earlier this summer. And we met some great people at this event. We won a bunch of, some new members. And we also had a chance to collaborate with Veterans for Peace and the Green Party, and, two organizations that continue to really hold great support for the party and the Uhuru movement. And on the next slide, you can see these are some photos from St. Pete. They also had an amazing march and rally earlier this year. And they had endorsements from organizations like the Florida Indigenous Alliance and others. And now we continue to build relationships with these other organizations, which is key. So here on this next slide, it's just another photo from the anti-colonial rally that we had in Tower Grove Park in St. Louis earlier this summer. And these are just some of the things that we want, all of you to participate in. And we also want to bring back the Reparations Challenge, like fundraisers, calling on members to to hold fundraisers and to raise reparations for the programs of the party. This is a photo from our comrades in Oakland who had an amazing yard sale a couple weeks ago, and they raised over $1,000, which was amazing. So salute to Kara, Wendy, Janine, Redbeard, and others. And also, just shout out to Minneapolis, who also had a yard sale earlier this year. Leah, Becky, Sarah, and other comrades. They was really, really amazing. And I just want to shout out again, Comrade Paul, who has raised thousands of dollars in reparations for his music fundraisers. He plays guitar and sings and plays the trumpet and stuff at farmers markets. And these are just a couple examples of what you can do in your city to raise reparations. And we also are encouraging regions to hold monthly events like open mics and musical performances. This is a fun, great way to engage the community, get people involved in the work. And we also want to call on regions to hold regular volunteer nights, like I said earlier, whether that's like banner painting, postering, and of course, we want to win our members everywhere to get involved in the party's institutions, like the community garden, Uhuru Foods and Pies, and so much more. So we also want to get our members and volunteers in waging the war of ideas. And this means, on our next slide here, getting involved in massive media and social media campaigns. And I want to bring up Comrade Virginia, who will talk a little bit more about what the war of ideas is and how social media will be involved in this campaign. Uhuru, Virginia.
Uhuru, thank you, Len. And wow, we just heard so many ways to be involved as a volunteer with Uhuru Solidarity, winning other white people to unity through reparations. I'd like to invite you to join the social media committee. I'm Virginia Wilson. I've been a member since 2015. I actually first learned about Uhuru Solidarity through social media. And this can be an important tool in reaching a wider audience, winning new members. USM has a social media presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. And we use that phrase, winning the war of ideas, which we learned from our leadership, Chairman Omali Yeshitela. And we use that phrase to always stay focused that this is what we're trying to do, to take up all the political space, including online, reaching as many people as possible, winning other white people to unite with the struggle for African liberation, unite with the anti-colonial struggle of all oppressed people, and become sustaining members who pay reparations to the programs of the party, programs which overturn colonial conditions. So USM social media is responsible for promoting upcoming events and studies, promoting the Reparations in Action White Lies Shattered podcast, alerting our followers to calls to action, such as the letter writing campaign for the Uhuru 3, showcasing USM in action. That's the wonderful outreach and branch building that our members do, and also political education, which comes from our leadership. We want visitors to our social media platforms to be able to understand why reparations are owed, how they can contribute, and how their contributions help overturn colonial conditions faced by the Black community, just like the Black Power Blueprint is doing right there in North St. Louis. So if you have an interest in or a talent or skill with graphic design, short form video content creation, video editing, writing, social media analytics, being an engagement specialist, we would love to have you be a part of USM social media committee and help USM win the war of ideas and to win more white people to unity with reparations. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Virginia. Yes. All right, join the social media and the media team. And so I know we're getting close to lunchtime, but we're almost through this. We really want to also invite our comrades to participate in our upcoming 24-hour reparations telethon for Giving Tuesday. And that'll be on Tuesday, December 3rd. And to talk about the telethon, I just want to quickly bring up Comrade Brendan, who is coordinating the telethon. Brendan.
Everybody, thank you so much. An incredible event so far. So yeah, every year we do the Reparations Telethon. It is an incredible blur of excitement and culture and incredible revolutionary speakers and just everything you could think of. We, we put it on, the telethon. We try to cover every aspect of the movement. So we are asking, if you're able to participate, like we have 1,000 roles. It is just 24 hours of nonstop, action coverage of just, education, everything. So if you're interested in, helping promote for the telethon, we need that, like with social media, like Virginia was just talking about. We need MCs, we need appeal presenters, we need people to work AV. That is incredibly critical. And if you don't have any experience with any of this stuff, don't worry about it. Come help out. We will show you how to do it all. And honestly, the best way to learn is just getting involved and doing it. And the telethon is the perfect place to do any of that. In this year's goal, we are going to be raising $35,000. That's, the Reparations Legacy Project is leading that. And that is, the movement's goal for the solidarity side. And I think we will do that, and we will have the greatest telethon we've ever had this year. So, Uhuru.
Thank you so much, Brendan. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to the telethon. So we are looking forward to the telethon, and it's always such an amazing and fun celebration and a fun program. And one of the most important things that we're calling on all of our regions to do today and moving forward is to build branches of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And a branch is an organized structure of solidarity leadership working under the leadership of the party to forward the anti-colonial solidarity front and unity through reparations. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if anything that we've been saying to you this morning, this afternoon is resonating, or if you're thinking, that's, I'd be really more interested to hear more about that, then we want to invite you to our follow-up meeting, which will be on Wednesday, November 6th at 6:30 p.m. Central. So that is coming up. And that will be an open meeting here at the Solidarity Center and also on Zoom, so you can participate from wherever you're located. And we encourage all of you to attend to learn more about how you can participate. You can register at tinyurl.com/Uhuru meeting. And, we'll talk about in more depths about specific ways that you can, learn more about the committees and stuff. So, and here are just some other save the dates. We have our USM monthly mass meetings on the second Wednesday of every month, and our APSC webinars on the last Wednesday of every month. And we're going to be having a USM strategic planning conference on January 11th. So stay tuned for more information about that. A couple of last announcements here. I want to invite everyone to attend next weekend the Black People's March on the White House. That will be November 1st through 3rd in DC and also in LA. There will also be a conference on that you can tune into on Zoom. You could register at tinyurl.com/BIB16th. The 16th. That was weird. Sorry. Just go to blackisback.org, blackisbackcoalition.org for more info. We also want to invite everyone to participate and pack the courthouse for the Uhuru 3 sentencing on December 16th in Tampa, Florida. We don't want our leadership to spend 1 second in federal prison. So head to Tampa, Florida for December 16th, the sentencing. And we just want to remind everyone to save the date for the Uhuru Solidarity Movement Convention that will be held here in St. Louis, Missouri on March 15th and 16th, Saturday and Sunday. So make sure to mark your calendars, book your flights soon. And I also just really want to salute all of our members who have been doing this important work from the US and beyond. This is just a small section, a collage of our amazing members. I couldn't fit everybody on here, but I just really want to salute everyone. And, you in this room and on Zoom, your picture will be up here soon. And, we want you to become one of our active members. We want you to participate. You can become a member today at uhurusolidarity.org/join. And I know we have a Q&A section now. So I just want to open it up and, just ask how you see yourself getting involved. And if you have any questions, Uhuru.
Uhuru. Uhuru, round of applause for Comrade Len. Uhuru. So we do have a few minutes for discussion. We'd love to hear from anybody if you have any questions or comments or ideas for moving forward. Len laid out some of the more in-depth meetings and strategic planning conferences that we'll be having in the next few months to involve everyone in really shaping the plan of action for 2025. And it's clear from what Len just talked about that we have to really focus this year on taking everything to the next level. So that's why the party's calling on us to really focus on the Reparations Legacy Project and massively escalating our recruitment. Recruitment is key to everything. Volunteers, members are key to everything. So I just wanted to quickly mention two other things. I wanted to appreciate comrades Sandy, Becky, and Diane, and others who have been a part of the Hands Off Uhuru media team. Just want to give them a round of applause. And the media team has been really, really powerful for the Hands Off Uhuru campaign, just getting the chairman out there and really shaping how the media even talks about the trial of the Uhuru 3 on the terms set by the party and the chairman. So I want to salute those comrades, and I also want to appreciate Comrade Redbeard in the San Francisco Bay Area. Uhuru to Redbeard. And Redbeard put in a question in the chat. He was asking about the picture from the Aaron Bushnell vigil and the black banner that you saw, which was actually brought by comrades with Veterans for Peace that had names of thousands of people on the banner. He was asking what were those names. Those were the names of Palestinians who had been slaughtered in occupied Palestine by the US-backed state of Israel. And I also want to shout out Bob Suberi from Veterans for Peace, who's here with us today. And that was a really important action because it was a joint action between USM and Veterans for Peace in honor of the martyrdom of Aaron Bushnell and the stance that he took. And it was very moving to be there with the Veterans for Peace, with members of USM, and with the general public who came out. And that's the kind of stuff that we want to do a lot more. Be out there showing the stand that white people can take. And some of the people in this room, Jan right here, actually met us at that vigil. And we had other members. Shout out to Comrade Jan. We'll be hearing more from Jan later. So yes, and then finally, before we open it up for discussion, I wanted to recognize Comrade Sarah Ritterspa in Minneapolis. Uhuru. We'll be saying more about Sarah later on, but Sarah has been an exemplary organizer in Minneapolis, winning every single person she possibly can, not just to support the Uhuru movement in words, but to actually contribute reparations. She's been a key part of the Reparations Legacy Project, winning her brother, her friends, and also her uncle, who was one of the first Reparations Legacy donors, Thomas Schaub, who recently tragically passed away. And we just wanted to express our love, our condolences to Comrade Sarah and to her family, who are going through this very difficult time in mourning the loss of Sarah's uncle. And we also mourn the loss of her uncle. He was part of us. He was part of the Uhuru family and had been a really important supporter and donor of the work of the Uhuru movement. So we just want to say Uhuru to Comrade Sarah and to her whole family. Uhuru. So now I think we have like probably 7 minutes. We're running a little, okay, so how are we doing with the it's ready? Okay, so we're gonna do 10 minutes most of discussion. We do want to appreciate Tumpe, who is here, who put together an amazing lunch for our conference today. And now so we just want to open it up for any comments, Chairwoman Penny, anything you wanted to say, or any comments or questions?
I got it.
Yes, and what's your name?
Eddie Schmidt. I'm very new to all this and very supportive, but I'm wondering if you guys have a concern about, spies. And when I say spies, I mean people are listening in. All kinds of stuff, but when you're talking about ending colonialism, I'm all about that. But I mean, there's the powers that be are not going to give it up easily, right? At all. So I mean, yeah. So I'm just wondering if that's a concern. And then another thought, while I was just listening to this, should you have one of these tables where military people have their tables. It's like, you're gonna be supporting colonialism and you're gonna be told to do things that you're not gonna be comfortable with. I mean, a lot of these young people think they're defending democracy anyway. So it's a real complicated thing. I'm all behind it, but that's my question and concern. Well,
All right, thank you.
anybody got some?
Yeah, I can take a stab at that, but Chairman Penny, did you want
Well,
to?
as you probably know.
And AI is a new thing too. I'm sorry to interrupt. I mean, there's.
You can come over.
Look what they did, look what Israel did with all these phones,
Yeah.
and nobody's calling the terrorists. Yeah. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sure you know, but we are under indictment.
I've been going
And
on.
this is the thing, yes, this is what this is our stand. We recognize that this is going up against the state. This is going up against colonialism, as you say. And the leadership of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African Liberation Movement, the state has always waged counterinsurgency, an attack on the African Liberation Movement with no rules of engagement, no laws they have to follow. They can do anything that they want. And this is the same thing that the US-backed state of Israel, the illegitimate state of Israel, is doing to the Palestinian people on their own land. This is based on what this government has done to African and indigenous people, where genocide has been waged and over and over, and that, just the attacks in every way that we went over and showed some examples of that. And what we're talking about, what this government has done to African people in general and to the African Liberation Movement every time they stand up. But we have to make the fight. Chairman Omali Yeshitela would never sit down and allow this government to do that. He has waged the struggle his entire life. This is not the first time. He has been in prison for his political activities, for his actions and his words in the past. And the struggle has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chairman.
Yeah. I think that's a very important question. And I think it's a concern that many people have to deal with. Sometimes even before taking a stance, because they're concerned. It's ubiquitous presence. You live in a situation where you talk and you're being listened to by voices by forces that's outside there. And it's great democracy, but you have to be afraid if you say something. If you say something they don't like, what's going to happen to you? And of course, that's part of your inspiration, isn't it? Because you live in this kind of situation. Do you fold? Or do you say we have to make this contest? And your presence here is part of the fight back. It's part of what makes it more complicated for them to do what they've done. Because they've been able to attack us in the past because they've been isolated. That is to say, isolated from white people who usually have gone with the flow for whatever reason. We're busting that up. So that in the 140 cities, there are people who are part of this movement. They're part of the Black Revolution in the white communities now. So that's the reality that we're looking at. And we have taken away this absolute solidarity that they've had with the white population. When I say absolute solidarity, I don't mean that all the white people are united with it or believed in it. But what I do mean is that they didn't have an avenue which they could express their disunity with the government, with the system. And so we've provided that avenue. Here, walk, look at the walk we just did yesterday. The white people who see us coming in honking their horns, they never had this vehicle, they had an avenue to be able to express their dissatisfaction. We gave them permission to move out of this safe zone that they think they've occupied for such a long period of time. I think that's really important and crucial. And I also think it's really important for us to understand that we don't live in the world alone. That we are looking at a frantic system now. It's frantic, it's desperate. I came up in a time where they bragged about they could handle discussions, they believed in debates because this is the way democracy function, and you could, do something. Now they don't want a discussion. they're friendly. They even had terms like people can't go on social media because they've been radicalized on social media. You know, what the hell do you mean being radicalized on social media? Because you're having a conversation that they don't control. So it's a frantic situation. It's a frantic situation where the world order is in a state of challenge. It's frantic, it's fragile. The system they set up doesn't work like it used to work anymore. You got contending powers for the same stolen resources. You look at Africa and you look at a contest between various forces who want those resources, and they also have to make a contest with Africans for those resources. Africans in Africa and Africa in Missouri. So this is an incredible time, a credible period to be alive. And I was going to say this later, but you know, people who grew up with some relationship to Christian religion, I don't know if the whole story of creation is similar in other religions, but in Christian religion, there's this thing that goes, what is it? The story of creation. In the beginning, there was what?
The word.
The word. The word. Somebody or something said something. Then in the beginning, there was the word without wiretaps, right? If in the beginning there was the FBI, they wouldn't have been able to say the word was what? God. Wouldn't be God, even according to Christian mythology, if there weren't the word, right? So, I mean, this is the foundation. This is what they're attacking when they attack us. John said they attacked us. They were attacking themselves. They're attacking God when they attack us. So I just think that we're involved in an incredible mission. And some of us have come from religious experiences, whether it's Christianity or any other. And we hold up those forces in religious mythology, however you want to characterize it, who did what had to be done and went up against the worst forces in the world. And that repression is what generated the growth of that movement beyond what the oppressors looked for. Ain't that right? Isn't that what we talk about?
Yeah.
Isn't that why we appreciate all of these great religious heroes and fellas like that? Because they did it. They went out and did it because it had to be done because it was right. You understand? And so we're talking about changing the world, and we are the key to the world being changed. I accept that responsibility, despite, you know, the contradictions associated with that. And I appreciate your being here too, you know.
Uhuru. Thank you, Chairman Amali Shatella. Uhuru. Go ahead, Chairman. Okay. So we are going to wrap it up now and break for lunch. It is 12:10, and I wonder, can we do a 35-minute lunch? Is that possible? How would you feel about that?
We also, the garage will be open, we have some tables. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, the garage will be open, this banner will be up, and people can check out the Uhuru Planet production studio and other tables and stuff that are set up in there, so.
There's 2 tables, but not enough chairs.
Oh, okay, and people can also sit down and enjoy their lunch, okay. All right, so everyone will be, yes. Okay, so you can write your letters if you haven't. Stephanie's going to be setting up the letter writing station for people to get their character letters sent in, so we can overwhelm the courts with a massive show of support for Chairman Amali Shatella and the Uhuru 3. So we will be back at 12:45 to resume our program. Kind of might have to. Oh, and you will be able to, yes, you will be serenaded by the sweet sounds of Comrade Indigo's musical stylings on piano during our lunch. All right, thank you, everyone.
Okay, that's what it is.